Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's Weather Page, aka SpaghettiModels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's Weather Page.
Just click on Mike's page, jump on the nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's Friday. What's cooking out there? Hope everybody's doing well out there. Good morning. We'll say hello for a few minutes. I have to leave early, so we will not be on very long today. I'm going to try to get right into the tropics here in a second, and we will have to cut it a little short. So not as many as hellos as normal. Today's a big day. I'll tell you here in a second. All right, so this is Hunter. He came up to me today. So everybody say hello, Hunter. Lots to talk about. We got two little spots now above me. Two spots. We're going to talk about mainly the one spot, the orange spot. The yellow spot's too far away to talk about. Thank you, Doc. What's up there, Meta Matrix? Is that how you say it? What's up, Richard Reamer, Michael Soul? What's Cat? Oh, cooking. Lester from Fort Myers. John from the Outer Banks. Cool, Heather. What's up? Bradenton, Lauren. That's my home. Tony going on a cruise on 9/9. Well, you better watch. Always watching the weather in September. Ryan says no more rain in Sarasota. I believe it. Megan says hello, Hunter. Wake up. What's up, Steve, there in Gulfport? How's it going? What's up there, Robin, Florida girl in South Georgia? Louis sleeping in his bed. We share him. Hey, what's up, Moogie man? Good to see you at Daytona, man. That was fun, wasn't it? Had a great time. What's up, Martin? What's up, Cheryl? All right. What's going on? Talking tropics. Well, today's a cool day for me. It's going on right now, but I had to tell them I'll be over there later. We're mixing the beer today at Tampa Bay Brewing Company. Spaghetti Model IPA is being What do you say? Brewed? Cooked? So there are going to be some videos of me putting in the hops today. Really excited about it. ABC, obviously here on the picture, big supporter of ours here at Mike's Favorite Page. And we got a couple tastings coming up at ABC in October. Winter Garden is Wednesday the 9th, and Cocoa Beach is going to be the 10th of October. So if you're in those areas, we really want you to come by and say hi. I think it's 5 to 7 o'clock p.m. on both of those locations. So I'll definitely be sharing that. It's over a month away. But we would love to see you guys and gals in the Winter Garden area, in the Cocoa Beach area. And we're going to have free samples and tastings of the Spaghetti Model IPA, and you can pick up some and all that good stuff. So big thanks, ABC. All right. Let's talk tropics here. Like I said, I got to cut it short. I won't be too short, but I'll make sure you get all the good information. Last but not least, too, by the way, I'm going to be at the Florida Home Show this weekend on Sunday and Monday. If you're going to be over this way, it might rain over here in Tampa Bay on Monday, Labor Day. So if you're going to the 39th Annual Home Show at the State's Fairgrounds, I'll be speaking at noon both days, Sunday and Monday. Okay, I'll be doing a hurricane presentation. So come by and see me. Hey, big thanks to my buddy Brian at Publix. They sent me a huge gift bag. My wife's been there 37 years, man. But here's two cool little trucks I just wanted to show you that they gave me. Thanks if you're watching, Brian. I told Brian I'd share them today. But, man, I got all kinds of cool stuff from Publix. That was pretty cool. There's the tropics. Let's get into it. That's a bunch of blobs out there, right? So, again, I got to cut it short, so we're going to go right into tropics. I'm not being rude. We usually say hi for a few more minutes. But let's talk about everything, though. So we got a couple things. Let's talk about this little guy. This has been happening. It's a really wild dip in the jet stream coming down. It looks like it's spinning, but it's actually just the jet stream winds. However, you always watch these little guys, especially this time of year. So there are a few models hinting early next week. We could see a little weak low. Upper level lows like this could sometimes break off and actually become something. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this. Nothing to be stressed about, but the Gulf is always sneaky this time of year. There are a few models hinting a weak low pressure next week. This little setup here looks impressive on satellite, but it's really nothing. It's actually going to be fueling around the Bahamas. Some of that energy is going to get pushed up into Florida a little bit. So, again, it's all upper level winds causing this off the Carolinas, too. So, these aren't anything tropical to worry about. This is the area that we're watching. It's down to 40%. Keeping it real. 40%. I was surprised. They lowered the chances as it makes its way into the Caribbean. So, a couple days ago, there was a lot of them showing a recurve, but that ain't happening. It looks like it's going to be going west, weaker west. So this is what we're going to be focusing on. There is a wave coming off of Africa. There's another one here on the maps we're going to show you. But this is what we're going to focus on here this morning, because there's a lot of models I need to show you, some scenarios. But it looks like there's no hurricanes Labor Day weekend. A lot of y'all remember storms during Labor Day. So enjoy the weekend if you're celebrating labor. Maybe you're having a baby. Here's the lower level winds. Obviously, this is a big flow of moisture just kind of going this direction. You can see there's no circulation. This flow is important because whatever happens out here in this area we're watching is probably going to follow this flow in the short term. So you can see that going on right now. If you flip on the upper level winds, 250 millibar, you can see what I was talking about. We have some winds coming down and some winds kind of going up here. It's a big mess. It's a big upper level high now. I mean, it's just a mess. But that's why we're not worried about that spot in the Gulf at the moment. There's a lot of wind shear, a lot of stuff happening, creating this convection and whatnot. But we are looking at this little guy. This one is not developed yet. It does appear like there's circulation a little bit. There's there's 850 millibar. This is the basic area we're watching. We don't have spaghetti models yet. We only get spaghetti models once we have an invest. It's not an invest yet. So if you're wondering where the spaghetti models are, we don't have it yet. I have Ensemble spaghetti models, which are Euro and GFS based, but we don't have the actual spaghetti models y'all are used to yet because it's not an invest. It looks like I just drew a little person there. Hey. There you go. But that's kind of where it's at. It's not very organized. 700 millibar is looking pretty decent, so it's trying for sure. There's a couple competing spins maybe, so it's not 100% yet defined, but it's getting there. The weaker it goes, the more west it goes. And of course, the area behind we're going to talk a little bit about. Back to real quick, just to show you the rainfall here for the next 7 days. That blob in the Gulf, still going to see heavy rain, coastal Louisiana. Some's going to be making its way to Mississippi. Now, some of this moisture is coming across the state of Florida. That's why the southern half of Florida is very wet. This pattern that we've been seeing here in Naples, Fort Myers, Tampa Bay area, it's going to continue with the afternoon storms. We're starting to see a little bit more rain on the Florida East Coast. As that moisture blob is from a wave, it's going to be making its way kind of through the state all the way to early part of next week. That's that first wave we talked about last week that was going to be maybe something to watch. That's kind of going into the Gulf, and that's why it could combine a little bit with our area in the Gulf early next week. But basically, these are your rainfalls to kind of know what's coming, right? Excessive rain, real quick. Obviously, flooding possible across Texas and Louisiana today and also tomorrow. Here's Saturday. Yellow's not too bad. Then we have a little bit continuing into Sunday and Monday, and then into early next week. It's kind of backs off a little bit. So the next 3 days, especially, heavy rain there coming up to the Gulf. Here's the tropics. This is the latest 8 o'clock update. Now, overnight, they had this highlighted all orange, meaning they could see development anytime. Well, now they delayed the development with this arrow. They don't expect development until it gets into this orange area more late weekend, early next week. The orange is not the track. The orange is where they believe that development could happen. A lot of folks get confused and they think that's the track. Well, that is the area that they believe that we could see development. And they lowered the chances to 40. I was honestly surprised, to tell you the truth. But like we always say, follow the National Hurricane Center, the National Weather Service for official information, because I tend to confuse people. But I have been doing the same thing forever, tracking tropics, looking at ensembles, looking long range, throwing out opinions. So if it's not for you, that's cool. Apparently reading comments, it's not for a lot of folks lately. So, but I didn't read comments last night. I start and then I stop. I do go to X. X is a little more civil. So if you really want to, and then if 100% join our mwpchat.com and be a subscriber, and you guaranteed we chat there. We have a good crew over there. All right. So that's 40%. That's 20%. There's another wave coming off. I'm going to show you here in a second. This is what it looks like vorticity-wise. 850 millibar here. This is 500 millibar. I got them backwards. This is 850 right here. Yeah, 850. 850, very sloppy, elongated low across that intertropics convergence zone. So you can tell right here, there's really no clear-cut circulation right now. That's why it's not an invest. They really don't want to guess where the center is because it hasn't truly developed yet. 500 millibar, you got these competing vorticities a little bit. So that's what they're waiting on. Area behind it is very broad also. It takes time. It takes time for these things to develop. You can see here the upper level 500 too, by the way. That's that upper level disturbance. So definitely, it's not highlighted by the NHC, but man, anything that sits and hovers over the Gulf for several days needs to be watched. Not needs. That's a rough word. Don't forget about our little guy in the Gulf. How about that? What do I got open here? All right, ensembles. All right, let me put these up here. We're going to get into this here in a little bit, but trying to talk about things. I shared yesterday we had 3 model runs that were exactly the same, so I figured it was worth pointing out. It was incredible. Yesterday's afternoon runs were like to the point, curving up towards the Gulf. Canadian, GFS, Euro, Icon kind of didn't go out that far. So I was like, yeah, that's a pattern that's consistent. And then yesterday, models went every which way. The 12Z dropped it completely. 6Z showed it. 12Z didn't. Now we're back to showing it again. Operational model runs go every which way. They go here, they go there, they go there. But there's a method to the madness, and ensembles help a lot of times more than anything. So the individual runs that you like to see, they're going to go everywhere right now, and that's just the way it goes. The fact is that we still see a lot of them showing it means we got to keep a close eye on this thing. That's my unprofessional opinion. Now, the latest Euro last night, very weak low into Belize, okay, 45 knots at 850 millibars, so very weak low, okay? But the ensembles had about 10 or so of its 50 showing a developing system in the Caribbean and then curving up. And that was that exact pattern that we saw yesterday with those other operational models. So this scenario still, in my experience, is still on the plate. And we need to, don't think this thing's not going to be 100% into Belize or Mexico as a weak system. I mean, I'm going to show you some operational runs that are showing this possibly, continuing this strengthening pattern and being something to watch the following weekend. Everybody wants to know about timing, I know, but if it were to reach lower Florida, it would be next weekend, Friday, Saturday, the earliest. If it went into the Gulf, more like Sunday, Monday, the following weekend. Not this weekend, not Labor Day, the following weekend. These are ensembles here that go out to next Friday. I stopped this one a little short. The other one was 10-day ensembles. This is the latest 7-day ensembles showing you basically this time next Friday. This is our orange 40%er somewhere in here. This is our yellow wave, and then we have a new wave that's expected to emerge off Africa in the next week. That's going to be somewhere about right here. So this one is still showing a little bit more lift, but we'll have to see. Things always change. But it's important, if for anything, just to know that we could have 3 things Friday of next week, somewhere here, somewhere here, and somewhere here. And you can see there's some weak lows still showing up in the Gulf here from that system there. So, but I want to show you the individual model runs now. These are the ones that get everybody all worked out. Let's go straight to the GFS. So yesterday's 6Z run. Let me show you this one real quick. These are on tropicaltidbits.com. His server got back up really quick yesterday. This is the one that was like, oh my God. So weak development. This is yesterday. I'm going to show you how the GFS changes and gets everybody worked up. But the pattern is there to keep watching. Okay, this was yesterday morning. This is that one run that showed 980 strengthening 950. Okay, that's pretty serious. But then look at the 12Z. 6 hours later, absolutely Zippo. And I shared that. I told everybody that. So it's not like I'm only showing the worst case. Now, the GFS 18Z last night, really nothing. Maybe a little development down here in the BOC. Now, here's that new wave going a little farther west. So this is the orange guy. This is the yellow guy. And then last night's overnight 00Z run. Oh, it showed weak development here in the BOC. And then there's our second wave popping into play. So it's keeping our second wave a little more west. And then the last 6Z today, completely back to showing our system developing and actually going now back up into the Louisiana. So, and this is next Sunday. So it looks like it's developing the second little blob, not the yellow, but I'm talking about the second vorticity. But so you'll be pulling your hair out of your head, but you can see that there's enough consistency there that pattern is not to be ignored for sure. And this timing, if you're curious, would be Tuesday, a week from Tuesday. Now your icon's been extremely consistent on development of our system, and there's a weak low in the Gulf on Monday. Here's our low crossing the Caribbean on Tuesday. 1,005, 1,006, and it starts to develop next Wednesday. 1,004 in the Gulf. This is next Wednesday, and it starts to develop close to Jamaica there, and it really develops at 970. So that, there's that outside chance of some low pressure development early next week. Still from that leftover juice and then that wave that's coming across currently around Bahamas and Cuba. But the icon's developing something. It only stops at 180 hours, so we don't get to see past that. The latest 6Z only runs 120 hours, and there's our low. This is Tuesday. So the Euro has been all over the place. Here's yesterday's 6Z Euro showing nothing. The overnight Euro yesterday. Oh, we don't even have the 0-0 on this one. This is when Levi's site was having trouble. Yesterday's 12Z in the Euro, showing our weak low here on Monday, Tuesday. And it starts to develop it, and it stops it right here Sunday. So that's the sign of something lifting a week from Sunday. The last night Euro overnight, not much. Weak low down into Belize there. That's the one I showed in that one graphic. And then we just got the 6Z Euro out. Big difference. Tuesday development 1,008, and it stops it right there at 90. So again, we got something to watch. Okay, that's the bottom line. That orange spot has definitely got potential to do something here in the Caribbean. So we just too many uncertainties right now to be worried about anything. But I think timing wise, we know. Anybody going in that area needs to at least be paying attention to it. That's the bottom line. Canadian model has been off and on like all of them. Here's the latest OOZ and weak low, nothing. Yesterday's 12Z. Pretty strong little system. I've never seen the models flip-flop so bad on all the models. So here's Monday, Tuesday, crossing the islands, the Canadian, getting very close to Yucatan on Wednesday, getting close to Jamaica on Wednesday and Thursday, and then it crosses Cuba and obviously gets in the Gulf. That would be a week. That's Sunday morning. But that pattern is what I'm just, just looking at a lot. Ensemble-wise, on the Euro, we can look here at Tropical Tidbits. You can see generally that flow pattern, the stronger the system, the more north it's going to possibly go. That's the orange area we're watching. This is next weekend, Saturday, Sunday. We could have them getting close. And then, so there's still quite a few ensembles suggesting, possibility of this thing doing something. Here's the Canadian, kind of all over the place. Some other models here we're going to look at. The UK and the KMA are the same. They're off and on. They're just there's nothing that, either weak west or develops it and pulls it to the north. But let's zoom in super close to these ensembles and show you kind of what's going on with the Euro. So even though the Euro, this is where it's a good example to look at how operational models don't always follow their ensembles. And, as we go into next week, there's 51 members. So there's only, 10 to 15 possibly showing development. But the important thing to note is that if we did get development, there's a good likelihood of this thing turning and doing the classic turn. Farther it goes west, the more you get on the edge of the seat on if that turn is going to happen and pull more north. So this is just, worst case scenario here. Obviously, these are your most latest European ensembles, and this would be, 953, 49. You could tell, it's considering that we could see something develop. Very little land over Cuba. But NAC is not believing we're going to see much development in the next week. That's why they lowered it to 40%. But again, we're seeing models that are showing that possibility even sooner. So, yeah, that's the latest on that. I mean, heck, let's look at the latest G6Z GFS ensembles here, and I suspect they're going to be all over the place like usual. Yeah, there's not a lot of them. Actually turns it a little bit. Oh, let's look at the OOZs. I didn't look at these overnight. Probably a lot more than we just saw with the 6Z. Seems like that's the trend. A lot of spaghetti. So, yeah. Welcome to September. Yeah, so that's about it. Jesse Rice, yeah, something to watch, not ignore. I guess we're really no different than we were yesterday. The blob by Bahamas isn't anything, but it's still interesting. I'm gonna pull it up right there. Just leave it right there for now. Yeah, we just don't have. I'm very intrigued, to put it to you that way. There is some sheer, I was looking at, almost like they call it a tut, like a tropical trough, middle level trough. But, it's so hard to predict those long range. But that's that, Yeah. So, oh my God, what wind speed's a 956? Well, that's borderline Cat 3. A little bit of dust, Jesse. Good question. That's definitely slowing down quite a bit. A lot, actually. There is a little bit actually, but once we get into next third and fourth, it almost goes up. So this would be the 5th of next week. This would be the 6th of next week. But very little compared to what we saw a month ago. This is the 8th. There's always a little bit when you come off Africa, but that's a lot different than what it looked like. Let's go back on the 20th, let's say. That's what it kind of looked like just a random 10 days ago. I just happened to pick one day. That's what it looked like, and then here's where we're going. So, a lot less. Not so much a factor. John Sullivan, Tampa, yeah, we're watching, man. Rick Barrett, great question. That's kind of what I was looking at. Frontal lines, steer these things. The fact that this thing is so weak going west, it's going to miss this initial one. So it doesn't look like it's going to get affected in the short term by this one, which is Tuesday. The front kind of weakens here on Friday and Saturday the following week, so there's nothing big coming. So that'll support a general pull possibly, and it looks like high pressure is going to be building back in, driving it, that direction as our high builds back in. So weak low, weak front showing up the end of next week. We didn't get to use these yesterday, but here's your basic look here. Let's look at next week on the euro, and you can see there is a weak low. This is the next Friday. This is that frontal line showing blues are low pressure. There's our high, going to be pushing back, wrapping back around. The euro isn't very strong, so it's not pulling our system to the north. If this was strong, it would be following likely this area right here. And then there's our high building back in. And because this is weaker west, this high builds quicker, blocks it, and shoves it more west. So, it slows down, misses that door opening, and it's weak too. So there's still a gap if this thing was strong, but Euro's not showing it strong. But the high is building back in, and there's no strong fronts after that. Let's look at, the latest. Let's look at yesterday's 12Z. Oh, he didn't have it on there, so that's too far away. Let's look at the latest GFS. Now, the GFS is showing you a little different scenario. This is next Sunday. There's our system. Now, remember, Sunday here could mean Sunday here or Sunday here. So this is kind of the time frame you're looking at a Sunday because it's turning. But this is a week from Sunday. There's our week low that it's reacting to. There's our high building back in. That's kind of a path. So a stronger system is going to follow that path to the north. And then there's our high blocking. It's going to wrap back around and pretty much guarantee some sort of a push west a little bit, but it's all if this thing develops and when it develops. Even the Canadians got a similar setup as far as steering goes, but it doesn't really develop it on this run. But it is showing weak frontal line action here. The icon doesn't show upper level winds that very well, but still good representation here about next Friday here. We got a strong high, possible door opening, but it has to be strong and developed by then. If it's weak, it likely continues west. So really, bottom line, how fast it develops. And man, I just can't believe it's not going to develop because of these water temperatures and the sheer. We'll see. But the water temps are just absolutely smoking ocean heat content wise in the Caribbean. So we saw Barrow go to a 5 when none of the models showed it. So I'm a little skeptical this thing isn't going to try to get going if it develops some sort of a lower level circulation, which it's trying. It's just a big old blobby mess right now. You can see it, multiple. But it's that's what they do. They take their time. They have to get past. In that intertropics convergence zone we talked so much about 2 weeks ago. It was very ill-defined a couple weeks ago. It was coming off too high. Now it's starting to set back up low again, which will give our systems a lot better chance to try to develop. These winds actually sometimes favor and help things get going. So that's that. And we just sit back and wait. Is there insider ready to develop? Steve Smith, nope. You just have to let Mother Nature do her thing. We don't have spaghetti models yet, so we don't have any really good high. Every model has shown it intensify, and then the next run they haven't. So it's a 50-50 game right now. Cheers. Yeah, Maureen hates to wait. Well, these long track systems have been the theme this season. We watched Barrel forever. We watched Debbie forever. We watched Ernesto forever. That's why the ace is almost the record ace. If you follow ace numbers, accumulated energy, believe it or not, we're like record right now as far as this part of the season, I think, or just maybe the season itself. But that's just the amount of days of accumulated energy. But I know everybody wants to see numbers and not ace. So again, the golf's tricky. Golf's going to be kind of tricky to watch. There is some I was surprised to see that there's some weak vorticity in the golf. I didn't notice this earlier, but there's a little 850 there, and there's a little 500 right here. That's interesting. A lot of wind shear. Not tremendous amount. I thought it says a lot, but there's really not a lot of wind shear. Wow. Well, I'm saying it's sneaky homegrown systems. You know, I got a Bay News 9 golf pressure map down here somewhere. Golf pressures. And they're dropping a little bit, 10, 12. Wow. I have to watch that. 10, 12, a little lower pressures. Well, you know. Let's see what the old future HRR looks like. Sometimes they pick up these little mesoscale systems. Sometimes get picked up a lot better on the HRR sometimes. Look at that, a little bit of spin. See that little spin up to New Orleans? That's the next 48 hours right there. Got a little spin. See a little spin right there? That's tomorrow. Huh. Anyway. I do not want to post that because, oh my God. Post and ghost. Yeah, Michelle, you're in the Yucatan 100%. You're going to want to watch this thing because if it takes its time to develop, that high pressure builds back in and shoves it west. But anyway, post it. Hey, Jerry, thanks. Yeah, consistency. I'm feeling Mike is looking to buy a Ram. Dodge. Oh. Was that an ad? What was that? What page was that on? I'm not looking at buying a Ram. But I might have been looking at my Charger. No? Well, Jeep. Dodge. Jeep. Emily's got a Jeep. What do you think, Bobby? Oh, on Tidbits. Now it's Adobe. I was downloading a PDF today, apparently. Google Ads can tell a lot about a person. Sometimes, you know, yeah, Kitchen, what's up? Yeah, I hope everybody has a great Labor Day weekend, by the way. It's a holiday. But Shelly, you cool with Monday, I assume? Hey, Greg Montgomery, what's up, buddy? Tropics tracking, Greg Montgomery. Mike Soul, yeah, not a big difference. Ian, what's up, buddy? There's still some models going smack dab towards Jamaica, so doesn't rain. Okay. Odo, hey. Okay. Steph, yeah, we should be good. The only thing that's tricky is that golf. I'm telling you, I might have to post on that. Oh, she's got a Gladiator, James. It's actually her and Sarah's. Sarah will never have a vehicle, so we kind of made it a 2-for-1. Sarah thinks it's hers. and Emily's, but she can't drive. But they go in. It's theirs. They're in it all the time. They went out beach watching last night. All right, but I got to cut it short, everybody. We're going to go blend some hops at TBBC for ABC. All right, so I'll be doing a lot of posting later today. Just stay tuned for that. Keep my eye on it. Don't turn your back on this one. It's got that weird feeling possibility. We'll see. But as of now, there ain't nothing to worry about. NHC lower chances, okay? They're the boss. So Sancia's in Jamaica. I would be watching this very close in Jamaica. Okay, there's some models showing this thing really getting going once it crosses into the Caribbean. So timing would be middle of next week for y'all. Okay, Lorraine, North Carolina looks fine. So one day we'll be talking tropics for the Carolinas. So just not this weekend. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in as always. We'll go a little longer next time, I promise. But I got to hit the road. All right, so we'll see you later, alligator. Have a great weekend.